And then there was a time my husband cried. He actually cried.
Aww.
I was like, I was even the one consoling him that, see, Ogbeni, keep calm. It will happen. So there was a time the children were making noise. I just said, see, people should sit down. I'm going to spank you. And the response that she gave was that people should respect yourself. Oh, Mr. Biola does not know how someone feels.
There was a family wedding, and I was told I couldn't attend.
Really?
Yes, really. I was told I couldn't attend because no pregnancy, no baby.
So somebody has given me water before. I went for a prayer. I stood in gap for you. So this is the water. Please take. With joy. Ah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for your concern. And I will keep the water. I will keep the handkerchief. Whatever they bring, I won't say I'm not collecting. I will collect and trash.
Hello and welcome on the E.B.U.N show. Today we are discussing delay in conception. Millions of people in the world are dealing with one level of infertility or the other. And infertility is defined as not being able to get pregnant, having constant sex for a year. So, you're married, you have had unprotected sex with your husband for 12 months. That is what infertility is. And I do have people around. Matter of fact, I waited for like 3 years before having my first baby. I have people who waited 5 years, some who are still waiting for like 6, 10 years. And it is my heart desire that their great news is coming soon. But hey, the question is, what do you do in that period of waiting? And that is why we are in the house of Abiola Olubiyi, a sister of mine who waited 10 years before having a baby. And so we're going to be discussing with her how she handled insensitivity, the fears, and how she was able to pull through for 10 years. Welcome on the show. Auntie Biola, you're welcome on the E.B.U.N show.
Thank you.
Eventually, we are here.
Thank you. It's a
Okay,
pleasure.
so we're talking about delay in conception.
Okay.
I know you waited 10 years to carry your handsome baby in your hands. And I know you have a story.
Yeah.
And that is what we want to hear on the show today.
Okay.
I waited for, it was almost 3 years.
Okay.
And I can tell I went through a lot. There were nights of crying, and there were some significant things that happened, like people asking you direct questions like, so what are you doing about childbearing? Like, as if you are the one who is in charge of distribution of pregnancy. Matter of fact, there was one that really hit me bad, where there was a family wedding, and I was told I couldn't attend.
Really?
Yes, really. I was told I couldn't attend because no pregnancy, no baby. So sis, let us hear your story.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a privilege to be on the show and to share my story. So, I got married on the 8th of May 2010. But before we got married, we had this intention that we're going to bond for like 6 months. You know, the usual way that no baby is coming, no pregnancy.
We want to enjoy ourselves.
Exactly. We want to get to know each other very well. So we wanted that, and it was on. So we were not bothered about whether there was any pregnancy or not. So it got to a time that one of our mummies in the Lord, she was worried, and she was like, have you done anything? And we said no, that we are keeping our cool, that we want to take our time, that when it is time, we're going to try for babies. But when the pressure was so much, so we decided to go to the hospital. When we now decided to start trying for babies, and there was nothing to show for it, so we now decided to go to an hospital to check out what is happening. So it was at the hospital that we got to know that I can't actually have a baby because of from my husband's hand that your husband cannot actually father a child. So it was just like, it was even the person that took us there that the doctor had to tell. So it was the woman that now called me and told me that the doctor said He said, that's a lie, it's not possible. Just keep calm.
This
Things
was
will
after
fall.
how many years?
Not years. This was around November. We got married in May. It was around November.
So that same year, there was already pressure for you to go to the hospital.
There was already pressure, yeah. So before then, when we got to the hospital, the doctor was like, you don't have to give yourself any trouble. You have to be having constant sex, uninterrupted sex for 1 year before you can say you're trying for babies. There is an issue. So, but when we got to there and we had that result, so we just felt it's nothing to worry about. It does happen. So the doctor prescribed some drug just to boost the sperm and all that, and we started our journey. So for me too, I went through a series of tests. Even when they said there was nothing at the initial stage, when it got to a point, hormonal imbalance, so many things started creeping in. You go for this, you go for HSG. I did so many tests while my husband was still on drug. We were still trying, doing a lot of things as well. And one of the things that actually affected me during those periods was you inviting me for prayers and all that. At times I just get tired of, why can't you just leave me alone? This one, they will say there is a prayer here.
The invitation for prayer, was that from your mom or friends or in-laws?
From in-laws. From in-laws. There was a particular woman that till today, I don't know, maybe she's still having some things in her mind against me. She invited me to a church program, in-law, but I said no. In fact, I told my husband that, see, I'm not going for any program, even the one from my mom-in-law. It's the one that I actually want to attend. There are some that will tell her, Mommy, okay, I will come. In my mind, I knew I was not going to show up. And I will just tell my husband that, see, this one, tell Mommy to be praying for us on our own. We have our home prayers, we have our home retreats, we go for programs. That's enough. Let her keep praying let her keep going for those programs on our behalf and keep praying, standing in gap for us. So, and thank God for the type of husband that I have. He didn't speak it directly to Mommy, but he had the way, just tell her you are coming, but we know in our mind that we are not coming. So on that day of the event, Mommy, we are sorry, we can't make it down. And there are some that you just feel, okay, let's just attention. Maybe we are praying for ourselves, so we just manage and go. But it got to a time too, she dropped, so she stopped inviting us when she discovered maybe my interest in the programs are not really coming on. So I guess she stopped inviting me for programs. So it got to a time that my husband said we should try artificial. We have not even tried IVF first. We did IUI twice, in fact 3 times.
What's IUI?
Intrauterine insemination.
Okay.
It's like a kind of artificial insemination too. So you get the sperm from the husband and it's injected directly into the womb.
Oh,
unlike IVF that they had to make the embryo, the process begins outside the womb with IVF.
Okay, this one is just
it's just a direct. So that one is artificial aside from IVF. So we did that like 3 times. It wasn't working. And it got to a point that I was just like, it's enough. I'm not trying anything. If God will not do it, let it just wait. Because of, the emotional trauma that comes with having injections, all that. They give you injections to give yourself injections and all that. So and before you know it, you will start having this hormonal things will start changing in your body. This one is happening today, another one is happening tomorrow. I just told my husband, see, enough is enough. If we can't have our own babies, let it be. When it is, and I know we can't be barren for life. When it is time for God to do this, it's going to show up for us. So we tried IUI, we tried in 2014, we tried again in 2017.
We tried again.
Lot. That one is not as expensive as
IVF.
As IVF.
But it must cost some money.
450, within 450, some we had one 300.
The way you are mentioning the 450, it's not 450 naira. It's 450,000 naira. Yeah. In the present economy, that's some money.
So we tried again 2017, then again in 2018. So it was after the 2018 one. For that one, I had so much hopes because when I went for a test and the eggs were cut, I had like 17 eggs.
Wow.
And they were mature. It was really fast. And the doctor was like, it's so certain. It's not you have a triplet or you have a twin. So I was so positive about that. So, but when, after 2 weeks, I saw my period. So that one was just devastating. I just told my husband, see, Ogbani, enough is enough. Enough of all this trial and error. You know, the way they insert iron and all that, those process into someone. I said, see, I don't want to go through all that process again. And he accepted. So let's keep waiting on God. Let's see what God will do. As we are trying, we are also praying. Because at times, some people will say it's only those that God answers their prayers that knows how to pray. Let me say it in Yoruba. So to people, they may feel you are not praying. I think
you are not doing enough.
You're not doing enough. There's so many people that will just come with some things. See, I went for a prayer. Somebody has given me water before. I went for a prayer. I stood in gap for you. So this is the water. Please take. With joy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for your concern. And I will keep the water. I will keep the handkerchief. Whatever they bring, I won't say I'm not collecting. I will collect and trash. So before God will now show up, there was this story about this woman, the 70-year-old woman that did IVF, that had a baby at Abeokuta sometimes. So one elderly friend too, she came to me too and said she had this story that can I give it a try? Although I've told my husband that was the end. The last one we had was the end. And when we went for the inquiry, they said this one is 1 point something. Then, hey, we have said it again. Where are we going to get this type of money? But what if it didn't work again? Are we going to lose another money because we are trying for babies? My husband now said, see, let's pray about it. We pray again about it. And there was an accurate go ahead. As in, I had this type from God, yes. And I had this type of peace. You know, I've stayed for a while. That was in 2020. So let's give it, okay, I'm accepting it. Let's just give it this last time. We are trying for the last time. If this does not work, you know, we have not tried IVF. And doctors have been saying, go and try IVF. If IUI cannot work for you, let's do IVF. So I now accepted and let's go for IVF. So we went for IVF at Abeokuta. So we went through all the process, the egg collections. It's not an easy. When I heard of E.B.U.N, when she said she had 11 IVF, she did trial 11 times. I understood what she went through at that time. Because I was first given 30 injections.
30?
Yeah.
In a spot at it?
No, I was given to bring home. I will inject myself.
Okay.
I will inject myself, some on my tummy, I inject on my bone.
No, wait, that injection, it will just go in small, Abby. I don't understand. The whole injection.
The whole injection will go into me. Some on my thigh, I'll just open my thigh, do something like this, and like you're. It's
30.
Because one of the injection is like one is 5,000 during that process. So I had to pay for another thing to make up so that what they are expecting from the eggs could happen. So after the 10, there was a result. So we had to go for the egg retrieval and all that. The egg retrieval process was like heaven on, like going to heaven. It was a serious one because I didn't even know. I knew when I was taken into the theater, something like a theater and all that, and you know, like collection of eggs from the womb, from the
harvesting your
eggs. Harvesting the egg. So we went through that.
Okay.
They brought out. In fact, I woke up in the room. I didn't know who took me. When I asked, he said it was one of the doctors that carried me and took me to the room. So all those, we went through all those, and I was told to come back after 2 weeks for the test. So like my usual self, I was expectant, I was optimistic, but I was not ready to put myself under so much pressure, as in putting so much expectation. You know, when you expect something and it didn't happen the way you expect, it's dampened your spirit.
You left a space in your heart
exactly.
for it might not work, so that it won't break you too much.
Exactly. In fact, some of the rules that I was given not to break, I intentionally flaunted some of the rules. That I can't go through this, and at the end of the day, so let me go break some of these rules. So when it does not happen the way I want it, I will know at least, thank God I enjoyed myself. I didn't go through all the rules. But when it is time for something to happen, no matter what, it will definitely show up. So after 2 weeks, in fact, before 2 weeks, started seeing blood. Before 2 weeks, started seeing blood. And I told my husband, see, started seeing blood again. I said, blood, it cannot happen. I've seen pregnant, I've seen babies already. And I said, but what made me calm down again is that it was not like the usual flow of blood. Okay. So this one is not heavy. It was more like spotting. It was like spotting. So let's wait. So it happened for like 3 days. After 3 days, so I called the hospital there. They said I should wait. That could be spotting. It might not be. So I should go for blood test. And after that, if I before blood test, I have plenty pregnancy strip at home. You know, when you are waiting, you will buy it at home, because at times, if your period delays, just
you say, is that it? I know.
You have to go and have a test. So I used the pregnancy strip. I used the first one. I saw 2 red lines for the first time in my life. I've never missed my period anyway. My period is either 27 or 28. So I have never in my life missed my period. So when I saw the first one, 2 red lines, wow! I took another one. Wait, am I sure? So I had to take another test, and I saw it. I was so excited. So I had to run to the clinic to have the blood test. And to the glory of God, it was positive.
And now we have the baby.
Yeah, we have our Shetemi.
But you see, you're telling your story now with smile on your face.
Yes.
You said the story of 10 years in like 10 minutes or something. But tell me, what toll did it take on your relationship with your husband?
Okay.
What toll did it take on you? How did you manage all those disappointments? And seeing other people, you must have attended naming ceremonies, people who got married after you, had their babies. What was that emotional journey like?
Okay. The emotional journey for me was maybe because my person, there is a way I see things in life. I tell myself, if you don't have capacity to change a particular thing, don't sweat over it. Really? If I have the capacity to change anything, then you can keep trying. But if you know this is God's work, it's God that will handle it. So maybe because of my what do I call it now? My thoughts, my way of thinking, I didn't allow it. There are so many emotional times for me. Like when you see somebody that you were there when she got married. Maybe the girl, there was one of my babies that she was like, I groomed her. She got married. I was even there with her, and she had a baby. So you now be like, so what has this person done that I have not actually done? God, what is happening? Why are you treating me this way? There are times you will be at home, and there are times you will cry. There are times myself and my husband, actually, when you think, it has happened. Maybe this is it. Or maybe you there are some, you start falling sick, there will be some symptoms.
That looks like pregnancy.
Exactly. There are some
like
symptoms.
You might feel bloated.
Exactly.
This was
you may be vomiting. At times I will be vomiting, you may be having some cramps and all that. My husband was, it has happened. I said, wait, rest. Because at times we believe that I may be having my period and I'll be pregnant. So because I don't miss my period, so we try not to go in line with that period of a thing, that it can happen. Even when you have your flow, you can still be pregnant. So there are some, when such happen, and then there was a time my husband cried. He actually cried. Aww. I was like, I was even the one consoling him that, see, when you keep calm, it will happen. Just let's trust God. And at times, and there is another thing that I did for myself was, when I see people giving birth with their babies, I rejoice with them. As in, there was one of there are two ladies around me. When they had their baby, I was the one, I drove one from home to the hospital. I was there with her. There was one, I went through the process with her. So, when you do that, it's a kind of,
you're sowing a seed.
Exactly, you're sowing a seed. And you make it feel like I'm having, if I don't have biological children, I have children already. So for the emotional emotional period, my husband was there for me. But I'm not the emotional type anyway.
Really?
Honestly, I'm not that emotional type, because I just feel, why should I be crying over what I don't have capacity? There are some times I can count times that I cry, but not all of the time. Because
but what kept you going? Was it that at some point, I know you're a Christian, was it that you heard it that don't worry, you're going to have your baby? Because if you've tried like 3, 4, 5 years and you thought, and if God decides not to give me a child, it's okay.
No, there was no time. I was so sure that I was going to have my babies.
Like sure?
I was so sure. It was so certain that it's not possible for me to. No. I never had such thoughts. In fact, there was a time my husband was talking about adoption. He said we should go for adoption. And I told him that no, if I'm going to adopt a baby, it won't be because I am waiting. It won't be because I don't have a child of my own. If I want to adopt, let me have my own and carry my own. Then I can think of adopting other children to help them. But as far as I am concerned, it got to a time that it was the pressure from him was even much on adoption. That's it, when you adopt. So we just
like Oriomolo kind of thing.
Exactly. Although we tried, we made attempts. At the point I was saying no. It got to a point I said, okay, maybe I'm being too difficult. I said, okay, let's go ahead. So we took some steps about the adoption process, and we were there for like 1 year. I just told him that, let's drop this thing. We left Lagos. We said we should go to outside Lagos. That it's better outside Lagos. In fact, there was a woman that was actually ready to help us. She just said, one of our friends too. She's been there for 5 years on this waiting for exactly, except to have money to spend.
But this short thing must be hinged on something.
It's on God.
You had a word or something, or the way many people expect it to be, that maybe a prophet comes to you to say, you shall have a child at so time. What gave you? Because something must be backing up that strong conviction that I'm going to carry my own child.
I had a word from God that it was going to happen. So it was vivid. In fact, after one of my uncles now called me and I said, Biola, hope you're not worried. God told me that we're going to have your own baby. So it was just like a confirmation that I had it myself, and now somebody else is coming to tell me. Okay, so it's not an issue. So it's something that is settled with God. So I was not bothered. I was not thinking that maybe I wasn't going to have a baby. No.
Another thing that worry a woman is the issue of your husband going outside. Okay. We've heard stories upon stories of a family. The woman would think the husband is in it together with her. At the end of the day, there's 1 or 2 children outside. Was that not the fear of your husband having a child outside in the period of 10 years? Then what was the relationship like with your in-laws?
Okay. For my husband, I never nursed any fear with him, because I know him and I trusted him. And if a man, when I met him, he never had a girlfriend. I was his first and his last. So that's enough, is an assurance for me that what was he looking for? And he had the opportunity of girls. It's not as if there were no girls around him. But he just felt, no, it was not. And he got born again early. My husband got born again as a 13. So I was not afraid of anything coming from him that was going to go to anybody, no. And our bond was so strong. Maybe that was another thing that kept me going. Maybe if I had been having issue with my husband, maybe it's going to weigh me really down. So my husband, it was like, in fact, in our church, my grandma would say, you don't even seem like somebody that has problem. They see us, some people never knew we were up to 10 years. It's all because God married.
Even I didn't know.
They said the way we used to follow each other up and down, it's like, maybe we just got married, maybe it's like 3, 2, 5 years and all that. So they were surprised. So I guess the bond that we shared too was a factor. Help, really. So maybe that was why it didn't really affect me so much, because I know this man is not my problem. He's there and he's so supportive. Even when there are some issues from outside in-laws, he was there. He was there. So I never nursed any fear of him going outside. He would even say that somebody that would say that he had told God that if he should have any relationship with any woman, that day God should just call him to himself. So I am so sure about that he is committed to our relationship, so there is no fear about him.
So he was able to defend you with the in-laws.
Yeah.
But how did you respond to in-laws pressuring you? Because that's is a constant factor in many homes.
Actually, for me, I don't get to see my in-laws coming into my home anyway. So because of my husband, the pressure from them was not, maybe they pressure him.
Okay.
Maybe they pressure him more. But for me, at times, I know there was a time he had to, when mommy was inviting me, it was not even a pressure. I just told her that, see, tell mommy this. Tell mommy that we have been to the hospital and there is no issue, that we are on it. So there was a time he had to tell his dad, his dad to his hold. So he was worried too. So he had to tell his dad that, Daddy, the issue is from me. Okay, let's accept. So since you know it's from me, just leave my wife alone. So that also helped. So there was not really pressure. You must give us baby, you must be pregnant and all that. Because mommy was not even coming here. She was not even showing up. Okay. So it's a mother-in-law that shows up in your house that will give you issue. She does not come. She does not come.
As we begin to round off, how did you deal with insensitivity from friends, people? You hear things like, Shay, you people are still flexing. Are you not ready for baby yet? Or what are you even doing about it? Fine, while some may be out of genuine concern for you, it might just come across as being very insensitive. So how did you respond to it? Did you just ignore some? Did you have to shut some people up? What exactly did you do? Because I'm sure there's someone watching who is going through this phase at the moment. Because in my own case, I didn't even have much of pressure from my parents, my mom.
My mom never invited me for any program.
My mom would just say before exactly. There's nothing like put your mind at rest. Another question that threw me off balance was when someone came to meet my husband and I was like, so what are you guys even doing about this pregnancy? So my husband wanted to talk and the person said, no, I'm not talking to you. Let your wife answer for herself. So I was like,
as if you're just sitting doing
so
nothing. You're the one with the issue.
I'm the one with the issue. And what
That's
exactly
mentality.
What exactly am I supposed to do? Is there a place where they manufacture children that I'm supposed to go to? So how did you handle insensitivity?
Okay. There are some that I just ignore as if I didn't hear. There are some I just play along. There was a particular one that I still remember. Even I didn't tell the person. I worked in the children department in our ministry. So there was a time the children were making noise. I just said, see, people should sit down, I'm going to spank you. And the response that she gave was that people should respect yourself. Oh, Isabella does not know how someone feels.
Wow.
He said, Isabella does not know how someone feels. So she will beat you. I said, thank you, God bless you. Me, I don't know how somebody feels. So I've never had one, so I will spank you. It eats me. She was insensitive. But at the same time, I just gave the response back to her that yes, so I don't know how it feels to be pregnant. I don't know how it feels to give birth.
To have a child.
A child, I don't know how it feels. So I'm going to beat you like I don't even know how it feels. Although I didn't tell her to her face, but when I got home, I just went to God and said, see, God, I want to know how it feels. Somebody just said, I don't know how. That was one of the moments that I had to cry to God that, see, look at what somebody said to me that I don't even know how it feels. She said it out of, I know she never meant it. She just said out of maybe, some people are loose with words. And there are some that just, especially the one that used to get at me most is when somebody is having naming ceremony and they say, I hate it when people pray for me during those seasons. And I tell people that, see, when you are praying for somebody who is waiting, don't pray for them when something is happening that relates to their issue. Pray for them on their own, not when somebody carrying me, I don't like it. So some I ignore, while some I respond to them.
Thank you so much for your time on the E.B.U.N show. And now you have heard it. If you're waiting, whether 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, keep up the courage. Keep faith.
Just keep faith.
God, who has done it for others, will definitely do yours.
Yeah.
And if you have conviction of going ahead to adopt, it is not a wrong thing to do.
It is
a child is a child. And they say that it is not even when you give birth
that
validates your motherhood.
Yeah.
It is what you have been able to do
in the life of
children in the world.
Yeah.
Then maybe you're there. Through this program, you now know that you've been quite insensitive to people.
Exactly.
I think you need to change your ways. You might mean well, but it is not all the time. Talk about other things. It is not all the time you meet people who are waiting. That should now be the topic of discussion. They have other things in their life. Talk about their career, talk about family, talk about their interests and everything. It should not always be the topic of conversation every time. And when you pray for them in the corner of your room. God answers everywhere. You don't have to show off with your prayers.
No, don't do it.
And see, if you are an in-law, you are not God.
Exactly.
And they cannot manufacture babies. So please,
we were just privileged to have yours when you had.
Yes, so please let us learn to be sensitive to people. And that's it on the E.B.U.N show for this episode. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Subscribe, like, and share. Bye.
Bye.